Welcome back, and thank you all very much for your continued support and encouragement, your comments for the videos I've been posting, and for subscribing. Today, after having studied the highest and lowest marked performance dressages of the eventing phase of the Olympics, I want to go back to some news stories about Charlotte Dujardin. The first one is from the Mail Online, and this dates back to the 8th of August. Disgraced Team GB dressage rider Charlotte Dujardin is all smiles as she is seen for the first time since being banned from the Olympics for vile whipping video she said had left her deeply ashamed. So this was published almost 2 weeks after the whipping abuse story broke in the national press. Charlotte Dujardin was all smiles as she was seen for the first time since being banned from the Paris 2024 Olympics for distressing footage, I called it obscene, that emerged of her repeatedly whipping a horse. And I have made a video about that. I'll put the link in the description below this video. The disgraced Team GB dressage rider, 39, was seen visiting a friend at Gloucester Airport with her fiancé, Dean Wyatt-Golding, in her first public outing since the vile video sent shockwaves through the equestrian world on July 24th. Dujardin was sensationally banned from the sport just days before the Paris Olympics after being accused of whipping a horse on its legs more than 24 times. She wasn't accused. She admitted to it being her in the video, and the whipping was 24 times within 1 minute. The 6-time Olympic medalist was outed after the International Federation for Equestrian Sports, the FEI, was sent video footage allegedly showing Dujardin mistreating the horse at a UK training venue. And then there's a piece here about the original story, with the incident being publicised by the Dutch lawyer Stefan Wensing, who raised the grievance on behalf of his client. The animal in question was whipped like an elephant in a circus, hitting the horse 24 times in 1 minute, and really hard, really harsh, really tough. And yes, I would agree with him there. Here is Charlotte with her fiancé, who in a different image is holding their 18-month-old daughter. And this is the individual here who is cited as her friend. The couple were joined by racehorse owner Peter Belshaw for the trip on Wednesday evening. Now, he's actually her sponsor. He contributes by funding the horses she rides, or part funding the horses she rides, depending on how many owners the horse has. So let's look at Peter Belshaw in October 21, referring to this particular horse, young horse, Secret Agent, which she is introducing. A beautiful 2-year-old stallion owned by myself and Peter Belshaw. We are very slowly building him up whilst giving him the time to mature in Germany. I can't tell you how excited I am for his future. Well, given the circumstances, it doesn't really excite me to know that he may be trained abusively, in my opinion, based on the video of her abusing a horse so horrifically. He's honestly the sweetest soul, and his talent astounds me, says Charlotte. Well, maybe that will save him from coercive training. Or maybe that's just another horse that is less likely to fight back and injure her or causing it pain. Special Agent's co-owner and Dujardin's biggest horse sponsor at the moment, he's the biggest horse sponsor, is the Wigan-based Peter Belshaw, who is the CEO of the company Times Engineering. It specialises in subcontract engineering for the mining and hydraulics industries. He is also a dressage horse breeder and owner. He partnered with Dujardin 5 years ago, and she has been competing small tour horse Kismet for him as well as Florence, youngsters Mon Amour, Mezzati and Magni. So he owns quite a few horses. Belchor's Nemesis, Odd Job, Orwell and Nika are currently with Hester's former stable jockey, Sadie Smith. Okay, so he has another rider which he sponsors with young horses. So yes, she is indeed smiling. So here, looking like she's having some sort of conversation with Peter Belchor, who is showing off his private jet to her family. And walking away somewhere, she's still smiling. And here, she's holding a pink and white lunch bag as she walked back to her car next to the airport. Not sure what the significance is, but I would say at this time, the weather was really hot at the time these images were supposedly taken. We have Peter Belchor and Charlotte Dujardin in more autumnal outfits. That just makes me question whether these photographs really were taken at the time that they said they were, when we were in the middle of a heat wave, or whether perhaps they were released at that time. But either way, it just seems to me to be something of what they call a puff piece that could have been released by a PR team. And underneath this image, the commentary, the mother of one previously said she felt deeply ashamed after video emerged of her whipping a horse repeatedly during a lesson with a student. Now, to my knowledge, Splash News is something of a paparazzi type photography organisation. So let's have a look. Splash News is an entertainment news agency. The company provides candid celebrity photography and video content for entertainment to print online. So there she is, looking deeply ashamed. And there you see Charlotte and Peter hugging very warmly and very tightly. And she's on her tiptoes just before they departed the airport. And she's on her tiptoes, presumably to be able to reach around his neck. Mr. Wensing then revealed his client was a sponsor of a young rider, a 19-year-old girl who had attended a lesson with Dujardin 2.5 years ago. The 19-year-old was the rider of the horse that Dujardin could be seen whipping. The alleged whistleblower had filmed the lesson but was warned against making an official complaint due to Dujardin's previously sparkling reputation. In a statement of apology, Dujardin claimed she was deeply ashamed and devastated at her actions, calling what happened in the video an error of judgment, or from what I saw, it was 24 errors of judgment. But new photographs show the disgraced star looking elated as she beamed alongside her partner and who appears to be their child, while the couple met up with a friend. Well, Peter Belchor seems to be a lovely friend to have, as he provides some lovely, lovely expensive horses for her. Around the time of the shocking video's emergence, Dujardin said in a statement, "A video has emerged from 4 years ago, which shows me making an error of judgment during a coaching session." It's disputed to be 2.5 years ago, not 4, which coincidentally, if it's 4 years, it falls outside the RSPCA's jurisdiction for considering the case. Understandably, the FEI is investigating, and I have made the decision to withdraw from all competition, including the Paris Olympics, while this process takes place. Well, what else can she do? She wouldn't be very popular at equestrian engagements. And what happened was completely out of character and does not reflect how I train my horses or coach my pupils. Well, what does it reflect? However, there's no excuse. I'm deeply ashamed and should have set a better example in that moment. I'm sincerely sorry for my actions and devastated that I have let everyone down, including Team GB, fans and sponsors, and so on. Dujardin's fiancé, Dean, previously said outside the couple's countryside home that the allegation had all come out of the blue. Yeah, I bet it did. Smiling again. And they published the statement here. I won't read that. Oh, here she is smiling again. Oh, with what appear to be noseband imprints on a horse's face, which, according to bridle fitting guidelines, is very high. And the noseband on this one was very thick. They should be fitted below this bone on the horse's face. And this looks like it was fitted right across it instead of about here. This is Vallegro. And this is her after winning the gold medal at the dressage in the 2016 Rio Olympics. She's presumably crying tears of joy at the 2012 Olympics. And yes, you can see how this noseband is fitted too high on this horse's face, as per the imprint of it here. And with nosebands, you should be able to get 2 fingers fully underneath them. So it seems fairly clear that may not have been the case for this horse if the imprint of it is etched in the horse's face, fitted too high and interfering with this bone and the superficial nerve network immediately beneath it. And that's why it's fitted lower. Her fiancé continues, "I can't say anything beyond Charlotte's statement. All we can do is wait and see what happens," he said. Whether she is sanctioned or not, presumably. Asked if he knew who the video had been released by and how it had been shared, Mr. Golding said, "No, we have no idea." Well, she might have had some idea because the person was in the arena at the same time. Charlotte is obviously cooperating with the equestrian authorities for now. The couple have a 1-year-old daughter, Isabella, who was due in Paris to watch her mother compete, with Dujardin telling the Mail, "People say it's the end of your career to have kids, but we are showing it isn't." Well, no, you've basically just ended your career by abusing a horse, which you admitted to. She was back on horseback within 6 weeks of having Isabella and said it would be very special riding in front of her in Paris. Oh, what a disappointment. The FEI has provisionally suspended the athlete for 6 months while it investigates the footage of Dujardin allegedly mistreating a horse at an educational day in a UK training venue. An educational day. Well, what are we to learn from that? The sporting body said it was sent just 3 days before Friday's opening ceremony, where Dujardin was tipped to be among the contenders to be the flag bearer for Team GB. Well, she's been saved from that embarrassment. And let's see if there are comments. Yeah, there are 136, 115. So it's still a lot of interest in this. If you go to the dailymail.co.uk website and search Charlotte Dujardin Olympics ban, you'll find these comments. So what do I think of this? It says to me, having been released at this time, that although other sponsors have dropped her, the individual funding or partially funding her horses is still best pals with her. Let's have a look at Sadie Smith. Her website. She's 29, riding dressage since the age of 17, and lucky enough to win 13 national titles, 10 regional titles, and various other championships, including the prestigious Badminton Young Dressage Horse Championships. She's worked as a rider groom for Carl Hester since 2016 and competes Mambo at Grand Prix level. So riding since 8 years, own horse on loan at 14, becoming a freelance rider in 2013, had lessons with Carl Hester for around 2 years, and she was asked by Charlotte Dujardin if she wanted to go and work there. I've learned so much working with Carl and Charlotte during the last few years, and feel so lucky to be doing what I am now. I come from a non-horse family background and have achieved things I only ever dreamt of. I now hope to carry on building a successful career, and my ultimate aim is to compete for my country. Well, perhaps she will. Her sponsors, no mention of Peter Belshaw's company. And I just want to, while we're looking at websites, let's take a look at Charlotte Dujardin's website, see if there's anything interesting there. Still being referred to as Team GB. She's in Leighton Buzzard. Her finest hour. And yeah, this is somewhat out of date because it states that the legend will compete at Paris 2024 with a different motivation. Stating that she will ride Imhotep at her 4th Olympic Games.
An athlete to retain their London 2012 title on the same horse.
But why is the noseband fitted this high, covering major nerves immediately below the skin, when it should be fitted below the sensitive area here? So, yes, the website needs updating. Perhaps they're leaving it until the FEI hearing concludes. And incidentally, Wikipedia had updates very soon after the story broke, within days, stating very strongly animal cruelty allegation, that she pulled out of competing at the 2024 Summer Olympics after a video emerged of her engaging in conduct contrary to the principles of horse welfare, according to the FEI. British Equestrian and British Dressage forwarded allegations of animal welfare misconduct to the FEI for investigation. Oh, that's interesting. I thought it was directly to the FEI. So this source is Sky News. after footage emerged of her repeatedly whipping a horse during training, around 24 times in 1 minute. She was subsequently suspended from competition by the FEI. Well, I understood she suspended herself, while a full investigation was carried out. Let's see this source, BBC Sport, and they've quoted parts of her statement, which she released at the time. The day after her suspension was announced, Dujardin had her UK sport funding halted, pending the outcome of the FEI investigation. And they are the governing agency responsible for investing money sourced from the National Lottery and the government. Well, I can't see her getting that back, unless, of course, she returns to being an Olympic prospect. She was also dropped as an ambassador for horse welfare charity Brook. Yes. 2 of her sponsors, insurance company and equipment, terminated their deals with her. 38. The Charlotte Dujardin case explained from the BBC. 2 days after Dujardin was suspended, board members of the International Dressage Riders Club, including her former mentor and Olympic teammate, Carl Hester, issued a statement saying they universally condemn her actions, and I read that story out in one of my earlier videos. Oh, she's on Netflix on the show Free Rein. So, given that Wikipedia is updated by voluntary contribution, and given this was done so quickly, I wonder who collated this information. It's intriguing, but it's good to see that there are people on the case. So that's all for now. In the next videos, I'm not sure what will come first, I will be focusing on the FEI, their scale of training, which the competitors have to adhere to, and then making a video about how the highest marked individual dressage competitor at the Paris 2024 Olympics compares with the lowest marks. And from what I've seen so far from compiling the footage, you're in for some surprising, to me, results.